What's up, nerds? We're your hosts. I am Chad.
And I am Jake. This is our weekly podcast where we explore the world of nerd from TV, movies, games, comics, news, and books.
We will give you our opinions, theories, and oftentimes spoilers.
We will also have friends and experts as guests on the show to elaborate further on those topics.
But be prepared. We like to have a few drinks, so buckle up.
If you want to support our show, like, share, and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts.
You can also become a premium subscriber over at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd.
So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd.
Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chad, I hope you had a good week. And with that, let's just jump right into it. But first, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, so, this week, we did take a week off because someone had to, go on vacation to paradise. Meh.
Selfish.
Yeah. Who would do something like that? God. No, but let's, probably, if he was real.
Oh, I thought you were you calling me?
Do you want me to call you God?
No.
Do
you want me to call you Dungeon Daddy?
Sky Daddy? You can be Sky Daddy, I'll be Dungeon Daddy?
If you are only hearing this and not seeing it, Chad's shirt. That's all that needs to be said. Continue.
It's a D&D shirt. Okay, sorry. No, but let's talk about Dune Part 2, which came out last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
First off, spoiler alert. But also, this movie fucking rocked.
Yeah.
I loved Part 1, and this was so much better. It is The Empire Strikes Back compared to A New Hope. It's just like, it continues the story, but it, yeah, right. That was
if you know, you know.
That was a bad reference on my part because, plagiarism.
If you know, you know. If you don't, go away.
Yeah, I mean...
No, please don't. We need listeners.
Frank Herbert, the author of the original 6 Dune novels, was asked his take on Star Wars, and he's like, I'm going to try my hardest not to sue. He succeeded. He didn't sue. But back to Dune Part 2. This was incredible.
Yeah. Timothée Chandelier, awesome performance. Zendaya, great as always. I mean, the movie was a lot more action. This one, the first movie, kind of like dragged ass a little bit, not in a bad way. It was a setup, and it was great. I love the first movie. Not saying anything bad about it. This one was so much more fun than the first movie.
What's wild about this is it's only 15 minutes longer than Part 1.
Yeah.
And it both felt like it was the same length, but also twice as long at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, so much happens, but it's paced so well.
I think you could say that about the first one, too, though. It was paced really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that. Because I don't disagree. I don't know why I'm like, I'll give you that. Yeah, whatever. This was so good, man.
Yeah.
Actually seeing them riding sandworms.
It's called Sex on the Beach.
Right away. Sorry, Mom. Get it out of the way early, right?
Right.
Also,
We're sorry.
nah, and it's gone. Different South Park reference. I'm sorry. Uh, no, this was awesome, and we get to see more off-world stuff.
Mm.
You know, obviously, we do see in the first part. I don't even know the name of the planet that the Atreides are from originally.
Arrakis.
No, they become the Dukes of Arrakis, but when we see them at the beginning,
Oh, and they come from.
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, I can't remember the name of that planet, but we do get to see the Harkonnens on like their home world. Also, the Emperor and Florence Pugh's character on their home planet. And
Are you not entertained?
I mean, just so much of the movie, you know, it gets to the part where before it even leaves the planet for cuts, and you're like, that's a whole ass movie. And then you look at your watch and you're like, it's been 45 minutes. That's a TV episode
Yeah.
on Netflix. But
So this is what I was kind of talking to you about the other day. Is that there was one movie in the 80s, 1998, I think, uh, of this of Dune, the original, and it was 3 hours long, which in the 80s was kind of a big deal. And they wrapped it up at the end of, again, spoiler alert, they wrapped it up at the end of that movie. And the place that they ended it at the end of that movie was where this movie just ended, the second movie. So I did some research on it because I thought it was weird because I know the director of these new Dune movies has said that he's gonna do 3 or 4 movies, and I was like, but it just ended where the original ended. Um, so there are 6 books, the original 6 books that were created by the original guy who did it,
Frank Herbert.
Frank Herbert. Those 6 books are based around Paul and Chani. The entirety of Dune is 26 books, but they were written by somebody else.
Frank Herbert's son has
So
written
really okay.
18 of those 20 additional books.
So I think that this adaptation that we're currently watching is based on those first 6 books. And in those first 6 books, where we're at right now would be about the halfway point after Dune 2. So it makes sense that there would be like 4 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that they were doing 4. I thought that they were only doing 3.
I would be fine with 3. I don't think that they need to do 4. I think that I just read that there was going to be 4, but that's not a confirmation in any way. So
Yeah.
it could very well be 3.
I mean,
3 would be fine.
Yeah.
Literally, where they in the original movie in 1988, I think it was 1988. Did you look it up? I thought you were.
Yeah, I was 84.
84. Oh shit. Okay. They wrapped it up. So again, spoiler alert, but at the end of this movie and the end of the original film, after Paul kills his cousin in battle, in the original movie, they crown Paul king right then and there. And then Paul gives like a weird speech, and then lightning strikes and rain starts falling over the desert, and everyone's like, how is this possible? And they're like, because he's the chosen one. And they're like, well,
Lisan al-Gaib.
And then the movie ends
Javier
there.
Bardem would be the forefront of that one.
Yeah, yeah. That's where the original movie ends. So the only thing that there was like a maybe 5 minutes between the ending of this movie and the ending of the original movie that just didn't happen. Basically, he killed his cousin,
Mhm.
becomes, they're like,
Yeah, he becomes
uh,
the emperor.
yeah. But they don't actually like in the original. They put like a cape on him and a crown, and they're like, hey, blah blah blah, and all this weird shit happens. So where are they gonna go with the next movie? If there's only like a 5 minute difference, as you and I talked about the other day, in the original six books, I did a little bit of research on this. Again, more spoiler alerts. But there's a time jump between this this and where it goes to the end here. But Paul and Florence Pugh's character do get married for political reasons, but he and Chani, Zendaya's character, remain together, and they have a kid. And Chani dies during childbirth, and because of this affair, there's a attempt on Paul's life, which leaves him blind, and then he basically walks into the desert and kills himself. So
Hmm.
I assume that's where they're going. Those are the first six books, which are about Paul. I don't know
Yeah.
what the other books are about. I assume Paul's a son, or I assume it's a son. I don't know. I didn't read the books. And then
Or it could be his sister.
I was gonna say, and his younger sister,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I don't know. The movie itself is fantastic. Sorry, I trailed off a little bit there, but I was just curious, like, where is it going from here? Because where you ended and the original ended are the same spot, and there's another movie coming. So I looked into it, and it turns out that there is more story to tell. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
And
excited to see
what
that. But there's a time jump too between that and the end. So I wonder how they're gonna do that. They're gonna like age them out a little bit,
well, I mean, if they're going to do four movies, you
or
know,
three, or three. I just read
or
that.
three.
That
But
doesn't mean it's
if
true.
they do go with four movies,
Mm,
because we do get Rebecca Ferguson as Jessica, the Reverend Mother,
mm,
newishly appointed.
no.
Because this Dune Part Two covers like months or maybe even years.
In the
We don't really
book,
know.
in the book, it's 6 years, but in the movie, in this movie, it's months.
Okay. Um, but we do get Rebecca Ferguson saying, and now the Holy War starts.
Hmm.
So if that could be an interesting way to create that time jump, especially if they are going to do four movies.
Hmm.
Where we get some of Paul and Chani, because at the end of this movie, she's very peeved that, because he's like, I will love you until the day I die, and then immediately turns around, kills his cousin, and then proposes to someone else. So she's pissed. Rightfully
Hmm.
so. If the love of your life was like, I will love you until the day I die. Florence Pugh, be my wife.
Can you blame him though? Florence is.
Oh, Florence,
I lo-
immaculate. I
but
love Zendaya too. Don't get me wrong.
Zendaya.
I love Zendaya.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways,
yeah, off
for being a
topic.
pervert.
They're of age. Don't do that to me.
That's a pedophile. A pervert is a completely different thing.
You're completely right, and I'm sorry. But despite that side conversation, you hear it too. Yeah.
Oh, it's Stuart Little
Whee!
driving a race car around here, I think.
Yeah. Was never mentioned to be a rat in the books, um, which makes it weird. Makes it so much more weird. Um, despite all of that, where was I going?
I don't know.
I don't know. The movie's great. I can't remember where I was going with that. It's super awesome. Uh, the cinematography alone in
Yeah.
I mean, we even said this with the first film. Just
The shots
incredible.
are amazing, yeah.
Um, what was really cool is when we see the Harkonnens on their home planet. You know, Austin Butler's character, Mr. Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård. I always forget which Skarsgård I'm talking about.
He's the father
Uh,
of the rest of them.
Uncle.
Uncle?
Yes. Dave Bautista and Austin Butler are brothers, but Stellan Skarsgård is their uncle. Besides the point. But when we're on their planet, they mentioned something about a black sun.
Hmm.
So then everything, when they're out in natural daylight, is in black and white, which looks really cool. And then when they're like inside with artificial lighting, then there's yellow hues and color back in their skin and stuff like that. But when they're outside on their home planet, it's black and white because of the planetary differences. It's really cool to see, coming from seeing shots on Arrakis, just bunch of yellow, gold, orange over the course of get this, the dunes of the desert, and then you have this stark contrast of these brutal warriors in black and white. The cinematography is so incredible in this film.
I love you. I'm not trying to be annoying about it, but Stellan Skarsgård has 6 children: Alexander, Bill, Gustav, Walter, Elja,
I was
and
talking
Sam.
about in the movie.
Huh?
I was talking about in the movie of Austin Butler and Dave Bautista's characters were he
I
was
was
their
talking
uncle
about in real
in
life.
real.
I was like, what do you? I was like, what do you
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Those are his kids, you
he
idiot.
has
I was
several
trying to
children.
not like be a dick about it,
You
and I was like,
didn't
am I wrong?
you didn't want to be me and be like, well, actually,
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah. That's just a miscommunication on our part. Uh, wait, what are all of Stellan Skarsgård's kids?
Alexander, Bill, Gustav, which is the guy from the Vikings show. He played Floki.
Okay.
Walter, I don't know anything about him. Ija and Sam. I thought Peter Skarsgård was one of those. That would have been the villain from the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. I thought he was a Skarsgård too.
Excuse me, the best friend from Garden State who plays
Yeah,
Mark? Yeah.
yeah,
Peter
he's a
Star
Skarsgård.
Peter
But I don't.
Peter Skarsgård Sarsgaard? Do you remember that SNL skit?
But maybe he is not one of his. This is completely irrelevant. We are going way off topic here. I'm so
I
sorry.
knew that Bill and Alex were Stellan's
I didn't. Yeah,
kids
you were talking
in real
about
life. I was talking about in this
Batista
movie.
and I was like, motherfucker, are you dumb? Nope,
Yes,
I am.
but not
I was like, no, I
not
am.
on this. We were just talking about different things.
Anyways, yeah, I think we should probably move on because
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
Okay, we are going to do our trivia portion of the show now. This week's question is for Chad. The question is provided by Marty over at
Strong.
Digicat Tech. He also did our website. Go check that out as well. He's killing it for us.
www.allthingsnerdpod.com.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm with a vengeance because he stumped me last time.
I know he stumped me last time too. So
he pulled out something from the 80s.
We taunted him.
We did. We poked the bear.
And
100%.
then he stumped both of us 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. So. All right, here we go. Question. Don't answer till I'm done. It's kind of a long-winded question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This species has high domed heads, webbed hands, and large goggle-like eyes. They shared their home planet with the Quarren race while they remained loyal to the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars, but faced conflicts with the Quarren race, leading to enslavement by separatist forces. Despite challenges, they supported the Rebel Alliance and later aided the resistance against the First Order. What is the name of the species or character from the Star Wars universe that hails from the same species?
Okay, so I don't know the name of the species. I can picture them, but Admiral Akbar.
Yeah. Character, Admiral Akbar, species, race, Mon Calamari. Admiral Akbar piloted the Home 1 Mon Calamari cruiser in Return of the Jedi during the Battle of Endor.
Yes, and sorry for jumping to it and not talking through how I got there. As you were describing them, I immediately went to the Clone Wars animated series and was I recognized them, could not remember the name of the species that saved my life, but I remember it was a 3-part 3-episode arc of Anakin, Ahsoka, and a young Admiral Akbar. Fighting that rebellion that you're talking about, where half of them went with the separatists, and there's a big battle, but I could not remember the name of the species. And then the second you're or the famous person. I was like, I got it. Admiral
Damn it.
Akbar.
Should have left that part out. Yeah, I texted him that you got it, and he said, I think I gave him way too many clues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I knew exactly who, like, I could picture the episodes in my head. But then the second that it was like, name the famous person or the species, and I was like, well, I can do the famous person. Yeah. God, I love that show. Clone Wars is fantastic.
But
So
let's get into
I kinda
let's
got
get
it.
into the
The nerd
let's get
news?
into the meat of it.
Well, plant-based, I hope.
You know what I mean? Fucker.
No, I know. I just like to point it out because you're the one that didn't convince me, but influenced me to give up meat. A big thing in nerd news that we got recently is that Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix has been renewed, not just for a season 2, but that they are going to do season 2 and season 3, covering, the Book of Water, the Book of Earth, and the Book of Fire.
Which is wild, because have you seen that kid on talk shows? Like with the success of this show, he's been on like late night television and shit like that. The kid has already gone through a growth spurt. Like season 2, he's going to be twice the size
like
of the kid that he is
puberty.
right now. It's crazy.
Which I'm hoping that what they do is that they film these 2 seasons consecutively, because they have the green light for season 2 and 3. So I hope that they happen consecutively for filming at the very least.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that means that we get season 2 and 3 closer together.
Yeah.
I love this because then each season follows a book from the original anime, which is rad. Obviously,
Really cool.
there's a lot of differences and creative choices that have been made as to the way that it goes, and
we'll talk about Avatar.
Yeah, we'll touch on that
Later in this episode. Let's scoot past that one.
Yeah.
Marvel is canceling a number of projects. We don't know which projects those are, but we have our theories / maybe wants for cancellations.
And don't want.
Yeah, and don't wants. I think for me, I could do without, and I'm gonna sound like a dick because I mean anybody listens to this knows that we love a well-led female character arc. I don't think that after Black Panther 2 that I want to see a series based on Riri Williams. Not because I am not excited about Riri Williams. I have a buzz. That's what we do here. Get on board with it or go away.
Or at least forgive us.
Yeah. But they did not do a really good portrayal of her in Black Panther 2. I like the character, but the
jumped from
suit was a fucking Power Ranger, and I was not happy about it.
I like the actress.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the way that she portrayed Riri was awesome.
Yeah.
But we went from her garage build to an her Mark II armor being overly CGI'd, overly powered.
Yeah.
And there was no, like, in between. Like, you know, we had Tony Stark, like, learning from movie to movie to movie, upgrading, till to get to where Riri went in 6 months.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a bummer. Like, they diminished who her character was and diminished how intelligent she was for the sake of a single film.
Doesn't mean that we don't want to see her going forward. There is an Armor Wars
seeing her
movie
in Armor Wars
or
the
series.
Young Avengers. You know,
I would still like to see that character. I don't think that I need a whole series based on
and
that.
even in Wakanda Forever, they kind of like tried to retcon the fact that she went from scrap parts of the reconstruction of the Iron Man armor to her having insane armor. And then at the end of it, they're like, you know that you can't take this with you, right? And she's like, oh, okay, fine. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
If we don't get like a series of her building up to that middle ground of where it makes sense, I'm fine with it. But I don't want the character to go away.
No,
I think she's way too important.
Hit us with that fucking Young Avengers bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Throw her in there with like Kate
that-
Bishop and those
The
guys.
Young Avengers is one of the things that I don't want to be the script.
Yeah.
They've already started introducing these younger characters to carry the torch.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that going. One thing, even though I love
Give it back.
Catherine Hahn, give it back. Give it back. He just gives and gives and gives. Give it back. With like Catherine Hahn as Agatha, Agnes, all the names that she's known by. Do we need the House of the Coven? Would it be cool? Yes.
Ooh,
But do we need it?
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I think maybe, yeah. Because we're gonna get Wiccan and is it Speed? The fuck is the other kid's name?
I think, yeah, Speed.
I think we're gonna get them out of that, and those are huge for the Young Avengers. Do we need a whole series for it? I don't. Probably not.
But still, like, you could do flashback scenes or post-credit scenes leading up to the Young Avengers.
Yeah. That's tough. I think the one that I don't think
It's a bummer
we need
because Aubrey Plaza was casted for it, and I love Aubrey Plaza as well.
I don't think we need a Vision Quest. That was one of the big ones that I was like, I don't think we need a series for that.
Or Wonder Man.
Or Wonder Man.
And that's not trying to diminish who Wonder Man is, but a big thing in the comics is that Wonder Man is a big portrayal in the creation of Vision. We've had Vision for years. We've gotten Vision, the all-white Vision. And
What American Vision?
And they've changed his conceptualization, how he was portrayed, his creation. Sorry, I struggled because the first word that came to mind was inauguration, and I was like, that sounds political.
If it ain't white, it ain't right.
Says the half brown person.
If you listen to our podcast, you know that I don't. Come on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you should also know if you listen to our podcast that Jake is not white.
What? I'm half.
Half. Okay.
Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa.
Oh, so you're just living on a prayer? That's cool. Didn't take you for the religious type.
No, I hate Republicans. That's it. Just clear that air real quick. But something really sad happened recently. I'll let you take this.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce his last name.
Moving
right.
past the Marvel news is that Akira Toriyama, and I'm sure that I just sounded so white pronouncing his name, but the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and countless other mangas did pass away.
Do we know what the cause of death is yet?
It was a rare like brain condition, kind of like. Now I'm blanking on like the connection to it. Basically, he had a weird brain condition where as his body pumped blood to his brain, some of the blood would leak into the brain cavity, and created a puddle of blood between his skull and his brain, and an aneurysm,
So-
basically.
It was a blood clot.
Yeah, but in his brain, right? Yeah. Yeah, which is super sad. But what's really cool is not about his death, but just the tributes that have come out from it, of seeing other like manga and anime creators inserting either Akira himself or some of his creations and characters into artwork with
Yeah.
their characters.
There's also been like crazy shit. I thought it was a joke at first, the first time I saw it, but like even the cartel, like, had a ceasefire, like,
Yeah.
in memoriam for Akira. This, I mean, that's wild. I'm sorry, my eye is like itching really bad. Not crying, you're crying. Dude,
Whose
it's been
ninjas are cutting
insane.
onions?
Jackie Chan has shared support, you know, and saying like, "Hey man, like, you good?"
Of course.
Just a lot of really positive and really crazy things have been happening. For the cartel to call a ceasefire.
Not,
over the-
not
I mean-
just like a cartel, like multiple cartels. Been like,
That's insane, dude. I don't know. It's very sad. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. I had a couple friends that were like obsessed with it.
I never watched it growing up.
Really? No? Oh man.
No, and then that one abysmal live action movie came out, and I saw it, and I was like,
But
"This is
Justin Chatwin,
is that the guy who played Goku?"
the kid from like Shameless and yes. White kid. Yeah. He was in War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. He plays
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's son in War of the Worlds.
Mm-hmm. Forgot about that. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I never got into. I got into like anime and a lot of these
Just not this anime.
products. No, I just got into it much later in life.
Oh.
And I just never got into or gave Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that a chance until I was much older. But I can still, like, this, I almost said this dude, but that just seems so rude to refer to Mr. Toriyama as this dude. He influenced so much. And, I mean, this is so sad and tragic. Yep.
Move on.
Halo still sucks again. Halo sucks again. The TV show
Sucks again. The whole thing has sucked from start to finish. They've had
it was like
2 episodes.
It was awesome, terrible. It's awesome again.
No.
Season ended.
There was like 2 episodes in the entire series so far that were like, okay, this is pretty good. The rest of it has been garbage.
I would say 3 to 4.
Strong disagree.
Well, the first episode, the first half of the first episode of season 1, awesome. The second half of the last episode of season 1, awesome. That makes 1 episode. The first part of the first episode of season 2,
That was like
awesome.
5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Running time, you're right. I will secede on that. And then episode 3, maybe 4 of season 2, from start to finish, has been the only episode out of these 2 seasons where you're like, this is what I fucking wanted in a Halo show. And then since then, because you're like, oh, this is all about the fall of Reach, right? And then they leave Reach at the end of it, and then it's just trash. And then more trash. And then, oh my god, that's a dumpster fire. Oh my god, can we stop? Fuck, it's getting out of control. Oh my god, this is bad.
I stopped.
That's where we're at now.
I stopped watching.
I'm going to continue watching because I'm a masochist, apparently. I didn't know this about myself until this show.
That's funny.
I want this to be good. I want it to end on a high note. It's not slowing down of the crap sludge. And I'm not for it. But on
I'm sorry. No.
I was going to say, on a positive note, we got a new trailer for another sci-fi upcoming.
There's no trailer. We just got an update for.
No, this one
shit,
wasn't.
that's right.
Yeah,
you
for
didn't
Fallout.
send it to me.
Yeah, because
You
I saw
motherfucker.
I
That's
saw
right.
it after I sent the
No,
notes.
you
I'm
do
sorry.
this. I'll go with the next one. You go.
We got a new trailer for the Fallout series on Prime. It looks rad.
Yeah.
They're compressing the timelines a little bit based on the trailer across a couple of the different games, but it looks so good.
And I fucking love. I know I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it till the day I die. I love Walton Goggins. He always plays just the weirdest fucking characters, and that's just his like. That's just his niche now, and I love it. He does it so well.
I think it's just because he's a nerd and he's just happy to be a part of it.
I hope that's what it is.
I mean, how could it not?
I don't know.
Because in some of these projects, like, he's just like a side character.
Yeah.
But also everybody
Kind of steals the show a little bit.
Knows his face, knows his name. Like, he deserves bigger roles. But he's just like, he's the dude that's just like happy to be there, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I
love it.
He's the voice of Cecil in Invincible, which is a nerdy thing that we love. comes back next fucking week. Let's go. But also like when and if they do the live action of Invincible, like cast Walton Goggins.
Yeah,
Please cast Walton
let
Goggins.
him be Cecil. Give him the weird face scarred prosthetics. Just like in this, where he's playing the ghoul, where he doesn't have a nose anymore.
And you had a theory that he plays two different people in the Fallout series.
Because this trailer shows him, for propaganda, basically being a televised timeshare salesman of like, purchase your slot in a vault in case nuclear war happens.
Yeah.
But then we also know that he's playing the ghoul, where, scarred, nose is burned.
So I wonder if he plays the same character just before and after. But like you said, that's a 200-year difference. So who knows?
So like, how does that work? But they could explain it, because if you look it up online, he's only listed as playing the ghoul.
Yeah.
And also in the new trailer, you see him running as...
It's just a weird thing to do, to use the same character. That a very, like, knowingly the same character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a strange thing to do. Like, you're like, oh, fuck, that's Walton Goggins. That's dope. I love Walton Goggins. And then you're like, oh, that's also Walton Goggins, but he's playing a different person. It's a strange thing to do. It's been done before. Jumanji. The original Jumanji. Alan's dad also played the hunter from Jumanji. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's been done before. I just think it's a strange thing to do, and I'm curious.
They could work it out, maybe it's like a descendant. Or they write in a way as to how he survived.
Well, that's pretty smart, actually. He could be descendant. I didn't think about that. I don't know shit about Fallout. I know nothing about Fallout. I will before it comes out and we start talking about it, but as of right now,
I'm just so nervous to start playing the games, because I know that it's going to eat up so much of my life. I played casually because my roommate back in college was a huge fan of them.
Your parents? Yeah.
No, that's mean. I didn't live with them for all of my college time. And they're not video game people.
I know.
But...
Well, they believe in make-believe, which is fun, but...
It's a weird way to say Christian, but you're right. Sorry to our listeners that... Actually, no. You're wrong.
God damn it.
But anyways, I've played some of Fallout, but it was never... I was never, thrown into it to where I was like, fuck yeah, these games.
What is it on? Because I'll play it.
I mean, you have an Xbox and a PS4. So, you can get the old games.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah. But also, because I didn't send you those show notes, the next thing is the last thing that you have, which is, and you're the one that told me about this, is that there are some updates regarding, Thor 5. So
Thor 5, yeah.
Talk about it.
This is rumored. Nothing has been announced yet. I imagine we won't get announcements until Comic-Con in July. But the rumors so far is that Thor 5 is happening. We'll have Loki. Loki will have a part in it. So will Sylvie. The main villain of the movie will be Hercules, which we saw at the end of Thor 4.
Brett Goldstein.
But it'll uh be a bigger Jaws type of situation because we know that Hercules is not a bad guy in Marvel Comics. So it'll be like the main villain until he's not the main villain. And then it'll be like, oh my god, we have to work together. Bigger Jaws. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been done and done and done. Still excited about it.
That's like the trope of the anti-hero in
Yeah.
film in general.
Still really excited about it. I really like the idea of having. I know they tried it with Thor 2. They did the dark kind of theme to it rather than the comedic theme.
I mean, it was
Thor,
in the title.
It just kind of
called The
flopped.
Dark
But
World.
right now we're like 50-50 because Thor 1 hit, Thor 2 nah, Thor 3 hit, Thor 4 nah. So we really need a win here. I like the idea
Was it
that
the
they're
same
trying
director
to.
that did Thor 1 and Thor 2?
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah. Thor 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that. I thought you meant 3 and 4. Yes, it was.
Well, yeah, I know.
Taika.
Like,
Yeah.
goddamn.
But I'm excited about this. I really have been anticipating and wanting Thor and Loki to meet back up. I don't really care after Loki season 2 what's going on with Sylvie, even though I loved her character. After season 2, I really think that, we'll see how it goes. I don't
Yeah.
think the character is relevant anymore. She kind of just fucked off into her own thing,
I mean, it's a terrible way of phrasing it, but I feel like she kind of like played her part.
She is kind of at the end of it. Her and Mobius both were like, "This is our new reality. We're like good with this,"
Yeah.
and that was it. I just don't think it's necessary to bring either one of them back, even though I don't think there are any rumors that Mobius is coming back. But we never got to see the jet ski, other than he sold jet skis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Thor 1 was directed by Kenneth Branagh, which is wild.
That's the dude from the fucking
Murder on the
Haunting
Orient
in Venice
Express.
movies, yeah.
Yeah. And countless other things. And then the director for The Dark World was Alan Taylor. So, not the same guy.
Yeah. Anyways, I want them to spice it up a little bit. So I am excited to see them like spice up the action, make it a little more serious. And if we're going to
spice.
speak about spicing things up,
Spice.
let's talk about sponsor number 2. Sponsor number 2. It's Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled
I knew
habanero
it was
garlic hot
coming
sauce
too. and
that
I
goes
just-
on practically anything. Listen up, we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
All right, we are going to talk about episodes 5 through 8 of what? Why'd you give me that look?
No, I'm trying not to cough. I've been
Oh,
sick for
I was like, what the
weeks.
fuck? I was thinking it has a J in front of it. That means it's me.
No, I know, but you were talking. And I was just trying not to cough. I'm so sorry.
I thought like maybe I stole your line and I looked at it and I was like, no, it's got a J in front of it.
Sorry.
We are going to talk about episodes 5 through 8, which is the season finale of or the back half of it in general of wow, I almost had One Piece. Avatar: The Last Airbender, because I was just reading the
Yeah,
thing.
we were just talking about that, like in that
Yeah.
break. It's fine.
Yeah, man. What do you think? Let's get like a comparison of.
Okay, so I had never watched the anime, and then I watched all of season 1 between the time, because when we first podcasted about the live action The Last Airbender, I watched the first 4 episodes because that's what we talked about, and I was like, I'm going to wait to watch the second half until you got back from vacation. So then I watched the anime. For like diehard fans, I can see where some of their criticism comes from. But I love this live action adaptation. I think it's so great. They obviously cut a lot, but it's still so enjoyable. I love it. Even being a huge fan now of the anime, like I'm hooked and a little obsessed with the Last Airbender series. The show's incredible. I love it. What about you? Because you said that you watched the anime back in the day when you were younger.
A little bit. Not. It was like spotty, so I don't want to like
Oh, just like
give
whatever
myself
was
too much credit.
on.
Yeah. But Nicole's watching it right now. And there's a lot of like little things that she's been noticing. One of them being that the Aang is very much like a little kid, and he thinks like a little kid. He's like this.
Yeah,
like
he's
dork.
like a 12-year-old.
He's a dork. Yeah. Also, Aang has a huge crush on Katara, which is funny because they don't even touch that in the live action.
They don't really touch on it in the first season of the anime either.
No.
Like little things, but that's more of like season 2 anyways.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I really enjoyed this season. I think that and I can't remember if you and I think we talked about this off camera. None of those kids, none, can act their way out of a fucking box. And it makes it
Better than the M. Night Shyamalan.
yeah, but it makes it a little frustrating. And then if you're, and then you get your diehard fans that are like, it's based on anime, that's how it's supposed to be, and I get that too. So, but shut the fuck up.
But also, like, you can find actors that could match that energy, but like,
Yeah.
be good.
I thought it was really fucking cool, man. I'm excited to see what happens going forward. I really like Jet's character. I want to see more of him. I really want to see. Is it shit?
I can't wait for next season.
Who's the one that everyone's just melting over right now? The one with the makeup.
Oh, Suki.
Suki. Oh, everyone's just like flipping out about how hot she is. Rightfully fucking so. I want to see more because they even mentioned at the end of the last episode about like, hey, like I'll teach you how to water bend, and then you need to learn how to earth bend or whatever. And they're like, and then Sokka is like, that means we're going back to what was the name of the place?
Kyoshi
Whatever.
Island.
Yeah, which is where she is.
Or
so.
Amashu, which is where
So we
Boomy
will
is,
get
but-
some more of her, which is, I think, a fan favorite right now.
Well, there is some romance between Sokka and
Some romance between
Suki.
Sokka and every girl he fucking encounters so far.
Yeah, it's a bit of an incel problem. Um, I feel bad for using that term for Sokka, but I think that's why that they spent more time with Suki on Kyoshi Island and Sokka, because in the anime, it's one and done. Their romance doesn't start until book 2 or season 2. So I get that they're changing up some things because it's live action, whatever. I'm excited for her to come back. And one thing that I really am not a huge fan of is Azula in the live action.
Is that the
that's
sister
Zuko's sister
yeah.
from the Fire Nation? Is because in the anime she's like a prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't even reach out to her friends who are spread out across the Fire Nation empire until season 2. I get it, they're condensing, whatever. But the thing that bothers me is that we see Azula like training and struggling with her firebending abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But in the anime, she's a prodigy. Instead of just bending fire, she's like casting lightning, like just pure electric and fire energy. But we see her like failing to do the same sort of casting that Zuko does in live action, which is a little bit of a bummer. Especially because even in the anime, we don't see much of Azula in the first season. Which is one thing that I hate to say it, because it was so condensed, that M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender got right. Not a great movie. Not. Super whitewashed. Super rushed.
Which is weird,
abysmal.
because M. Night Shyamalan is Indian. Like,
yeah, but also Nickelodeon produced it, and I'm sure that Dan Snyder, being the pedophile that he is, this is not speculation, it's been recorded. I'm not the one calling him that. But I'm agreeing. He was probably like, have young white girls do this.
Yeah. We won't get into that. We won't.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and I know who he is, and I know what he did.
Terrible.
But yeah,
absolutely abysmal. That's not what this podcast is. We can go into it at a later time if people want us to, or just watch, I don't know, documentaries. It's well documented.
Or YouTube. There's stories from
all over. Yeah,
Miranda Cosgrove and or as you may know her, iCarly, and all those kids. They all have stories about that dude being a fucking creep. Anyways.
Yeah.
Away with you, pedo.
Be gone, pedophile. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean the live action The Last Airbender show on Netflix is great.
Great. I looked up.
They changed things, but
there's like a kind of not necessarily end credit scene, but it's like a mid credit scene kind of. They're like, oh, the show's over, and then where they show the comet and all that. Did you shut it off? Oh, you idiot.
Oh my god. And I'm usually so good about not doing that.
There's like a mid-credit scene where they show the firebenders and they're talking about the comet that's gonna like pass by.
I did not turn it off as you started talking about it.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay. So this is important because in the original, when the comet, I looked it up.
yeah,
'Cause I have Google.
Sozin's comment. Yeah.
When the comet is at this distance, firebenders are able to harness its energy, greatly increasing their powers. Firelord Ozai figuratively described it as giving firebenders the power of 100 suns. So this will be huge going forward.
And it does come forth in the third book or third season. Yeah, I forgot it's along the same lines of why. Oh my goodness! Now I can't remember the random dude that tried to kill the moon spirit because the moon scientifically affects the tides, so the moon spirit helps with water benders. So Sozin's comet, which was named after Firelord Sozin, which is like the great grandfather of Zuko, named it after himself, and that's what ordained him as the Fire Lord that started the entire war that the show is based on.
But it sounds like at that point when it happens, because it says it's at the end of the series that it happens, that Aang, this also powers up Aang quite a bit. So
this might be a huge spoiler for people that are not fans of this. This might be a spoiler for you, so do I continue as to how Aang learns how to firebend?
I know how he learns.
Okay, so you know that Zuko comes around and trains him. Okay.
We already talked about this, you fucking dildo of a person.
Have
you and I had a
terrible
conversation.
memory. Okay, thank you, the cast for the dildo. That sounded so wrong after I said that.
Just move on.
Anyways, that makes sense because now he knows how to firebend, and being the Avatar, when Sozin's comet comes around, obviously, since he knows how to firebend, it's going to increase his power as well. I'm so excited. I really hope that for season 2 and 3, because we mentioned it earlier in the episode, that those have been greenlit. I hope that they're filmed and written and everything back to back, so that also there's less time between seasons 2 and 3, but also so that these actors don't age out because of how long this live action has been in production. I hope that they do them back to back, because I like the castings.
We'll see, because I've seen that, like we were talking about earlier. I've seen the kid who plays Aang, and he's already like gone through a growth spurt since filming the first season. And it's
like the same thing with who plays Lucas in Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's just like
he's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Finn Wolfhard is also grown, but the guy that I don't have it pulled up in front of me, who plays Lucas in Stranger Things, like he went from like 12 to 22 in a season. Yeah. They're like, we'll just shave his face, it'll be fine. And you're like, that's a dude. Like, that's not a kid, that's a dude.
Yeah.
anyways,
You do the...
well, yeah. Let's go ahead and close out this episode. Now, before we close out, we do want to wish everyone a happy start of Ramadan for those who celebrate. And then from there, we do have some honorable mentions before we actually end this episode. So, Jake, what do you got? What do you have for honorable mentions?
Not a whole lot, man. We were on vacation last week, and so we weren't watching a whole lot of TV. I did, however, watch Superbad while Nicole and the kid were sleeping. And then I also, in the mornings, while they were getting ready, I was watching Batman, the animated series. Like the original Batman, the animated
Kevin
series.
Conroy.
Like what we grew up on when we were
Hell
kids.
yeah.
This is not... I should have mentioned this earlier, and I totally forgot to. While we were... This is not an honorable mention. This is just something I forgot to mention. While we were on vacation, Nicole and I got engaged. So,
Yeah.
that's just
And congrats.
something that happened. Yeah.
If that's something that you want us to make public on the podcast, we can post some pictures
Yeah.
for people that are interested in what Jake is doing.
Well, Shizzle. What about you? Honorable mentions. What do you got?
Oh my god, so many. I kind of took, or I tried to implement the rule. Not rule, but like what you and Nicole do of watch a movie you haven't seen before and then pick a movie that one of those actors is in that you also haven't seen before and go from there. I didn't do that too well. I started doing that towards the end of these past 2 weeks, and then Full Swing on Netflix came out. So I kind of paused. But just a list, and I'm going to say yes or no if I would recommend it. No Hard Feelings, which you saw with Jennifer Lawrence. Yes, I recommend it. The Menu, Anya Taylor-Joy. Is that... Yeah, Rafe.
Lord Voldemort.
Yeah. Voldy. Yes, I recommend that. Dumb Money on Netflix. I really enjoyed that movie. Hilarious and great. I watched Voyagers with Ty Sheridan and Lily Rose Depp and Colin Farrell. Yes, it's kind of like an Interstellar meets Lord of the Flies movie. Not the best movie, but meh. I watched Spiderhead as well. Is Netflix, Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller. Meh.
Oh, would they like experiment on like convicts or something like that?
Yeah, but there's a thriller aspect to it and a
Yeah.
little bit of a twist of most of the people that are still in the program, like their parole happened.
I totally tried to watch that a while, like when it first came out, and I fell asleep to it, and I was like, that movie's just fucking stupid, and I never tried to
Chris
rewatch it.
Hemsworth's American accent is so not believable. It's like a mix of all American accents. Sometimes it sounds Southern, sometimes it sounds Midwestern. None of it sounds convincing. But the movie itself wasn't terrible. And then the big one that I watched was Good Time with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, right. Yeah, you said you wanted to watch it.
Loved that movie. There is a part in it where I was like, I should not recommend this movie. And then it came back and I was like, oh, this is a good movie.
That's what's up. I recently, probably in the past like 2 weeks, watched I like to watch Hot Ones um on YouTube. Um and one of the ones that flew under my radar until recently was the one with Colin Farrell. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to back up Chris Hemsworth a little bit. Because Colin Farrell is Irish. Chris Hemsworth is Australian. And Colin Farrell was saying that the hardest part of his job as an actor is when a director tells him to have an American accent. And it's because they're not specific enough to which region in America they're talking about. Because there are Southern accents, there's Midwestern accents, there's Northern American
There's
accents.
East Coast, there's West Coast, there's
So, and they tell them as a blanket
Appalachian.
statement,
Yeah.
like, just do an American accent. And so, without any actual direction to which part of America they're supposed to be copying, they look at all of them. And then you get a mixture of, and these are Colin Farrell's words, not mine, a mixture of different American accents that don't make a whole lot of fucking sense. And so as you were saying that, I didn't want to
But
interrupt
that
you, but I
makes
was
a
like,
lot of sense.
"Ooh." Yeah. So I think that's kind of funny.
Look at Australia. I mean, that takes up a landmass, takes up a third of the United States. You look at Europe, and Texas alone covers majority of that landmass. You know, so that makes a lot of sense. Also because
I got your back, Chris. You'll never see this, but I got you, bud.
how many times, you know, before this movie, did Chris Hemsworth have an American accent? The movie itself was pretty good. Well, I'll give him that. It's just that his accent was kind of, his American accent was all over the place. But I didn't even think about that. That makes so much sense. Being from the Midwest, you know, I don't think about that. Because I'm like,
especially if you're foreign and you don't know that America has different dialect. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
has 8
yeah.
different accents,
yeah.
at least. You know.
You could drive from where we are right now. I'm sure we have accents to people who listen to us from different places, but
Who even still live in the Midwest that are just...
from here, I was gonna say you could drive 4 or 5 hours north of where we are right now in the same state, and they talk differently than we do.
Yeah, and I mean, even a 10-hour drive going to...
I almost just took the...
to Indiana, where like half of my family is from, and it's still considered the Midwest, but they're so close to like Kentucky and stuff like that that suddenly you're like, there's a bit of Southern.
I've been
there.
to Kentucky, and they have Southern accents. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
my
not
family's from Indiana.
Southern. Yeah.
There's a whole other state between Indiana and Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it's still the same thing. But then Ohio, where my parents currently live, like...
No.
They
They just speak racist out there. I get it.
Yeah. That... Ohio's the worst. I'm not going to apologize to my mom for that one.
Well, it's not their fault they live there. It's just...
They chose to. But yeah. I like dominated those honorable mentions. Is there anything else that you watched?
Nothing that I can think of. No.
Okay, cool.
Well, no, just do the thing.
Yeah, let's give a huge shout out to Marty over at Digicat Tech, who has just been dominating and steamrolling our revamp for our website. It's
He's
looking
killing it.
It's
Looks great.
looking so good. I'm so excited for the finished project. It is live. So you can check that out at allthingsnerdpod.com. We are updating as we go. Also, if you like other nerdy shit, check out another All Things Nerd production over with the Kobolds in the Basement podcast. It's
called Dungeon Daddy.
Yeah, my shirt says it. I am the Dungeon Daddy of that one. It's a live play D&D podcast. I like it. Check it out. But if you really want to support the podcast and help us out, the best way to do that is go to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. It's a monthly subscription, but you get some pretty awesome shit. And we love it when what, Jake?
You give us your money.
Yeah, it's so good.
We need it. We want it. It's my money, and I need it now.
Call JG
Wentworth 877 cash now. Can we even say that? I don't think we can say that.
Yeah, we probably can. I don't think we're famous enough to where that's going to be an issue. Okay. But if not, just call 877 All Things Nerd. Too many numbers, but figure it out. If not, just like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about this. We love all of our listeners, and thank you so much. This has been the All Things Nerd podcast.